Hi there, good morning.
Good morning, I think we're live. Welcome to our webinar today on Gold-Vision and its uses in the fire protection industry. I'm Simon Lang of Gold-Vision, and this is...
Hi there everyone. My name is Vernon. Thanks for joining us today. Looking forward to running through and sharing some of the experiences our customers have had in this industry sector.
So let's make a start. What we want to talk about today is the way that some of our customers in the industry have been using the system. Gold-Vision is known in the industry. It's already serving a number of industry names. And the way that those customers are using Gold-Vision differs quite a bit. It's a very flexible system. The main areas that companies are using Gold-Vision to support them is in new business, acquiring new business, new customers, and also in business from existing customers, from existing customer management. And Gold-Vision is really interesting in the respect that, unlike a lot of CRM systems, it does have the ability to manage work post-sale. So allocating the jobs, running the work after you've sold it, and that whole area. And another interesting aspect that we'd like to touch on today is how Gold-Vision is able to prompt when recurring events are due to happen. So if you've got somebody and you know that they are due for a recurring inspection or servicing of an installation, Gold-Vision can take care of that and make sure that you're reminded in good time. So these are a couple of the things that we'd like to just illustrate in Gold-Vision today. Starting at the beginning and looking at where inquiries come from for new business. Now, there could be a wide range of feeds into new business. It could be that website inquiries are coming in, you're getting inquiries there. It could be that you're being asked to bid for new builds. Maybe you're going to exhibitions and picking up leads there. You may have industry feeds which are informing you about new build inquiries, or it might be a formal contract tender process. And where Gold-Vision can help out here is managing the flow of these in such a way that they're taken straight to your sales team. Nothing is able to fall through the cracks. Everything is followed up, and you can easily manage and see which of these routes are actually doing the work for you. If you're going to exhibitions, which exhibitions are actually generating revenue? If you're using your website, what actually are you getting from that? So you can track multiple channels of inquiries and feed those straight through to your sales team.
It's very beneficial here, we've found, is with leads coming from lots of different sources, is the deduplication functionality that is in place, because you may have an inquiry through your website
Yes.
with someone who you perhaps already know. It could be an existing customer, and actually just being able to identify that and respond on it is really powerful. And we're seeing a lot of customers taking advantage of that consolidation of multiple lead sources in, which leads us into a new business pipeline. Now, no surprise, CRM systems have a sales management, all do. It's one of the core aspects. But I wanted to share with you some of the ways we've seen our customers in this industry sector take advantage of some of the additional information you can store. So obvious things like breaking down business to new business versus existing, or perhaps by territory or solution area. But one of the key areas we've seen people using it in this way is by gathering information early in the sales process about data about a project that will be useful later on, either for qualification or perhaps for project delivery. So things like perhaps the size of a building, number of floors, maybe even photographs, things that will help put proposals together. That information is useful twofold. One is it's in a single place, which can be reused as part of the proposal. And also, as we will look later, when we look at the service delivery side of things, if you're bringing everything under one roof, you can then reuse that information as part of a workflow later on when it comes to service delivery. You're not copying that to another system or looking for it elsewhere. Something you can also do in this area is look at targets versus actuals and report in a slightly different way there. Moving on a little bit here to another area I find particularly useful is looking at customers and clients who have either multiple sites, physical addresses, or lots of different contacts interacting in different ways. So think about a property with different agents or multiple tenants, or perhaps where there is a building and there is someone who is going to do a survey, there is another person who's the building manager, and there are more comprehensive relationships that exist there, or multiple buildings at a particular site. So this is something that can actually be a little bit hidden in some systems, especially things like ERP and accounting systems. We notice it can be a little bit buried. So what we try to do in these scenarios, we simply promote that information up. So you've got a client, there's some contacts with different roles, perhaps different sites. So when you're working on a proposal, when you're putting out a proposal, that can be associated with the right person, the right building, and that makes it quicker and easier for people to find out that information.
That's right, and it's an area which a lot of systems do seem to struggle with, the idea that you may have a single entity, an owning company, but they have a lot of different sites which all require work being done on them. And it might just be a single contact for all of those, but each of those sites are quite separate in every other respect. So the sites functionality is a really good solution for that. So we were talking about when we were getting to the point of quoting part of the sales process. And as part of Gold-Vision CRM, you are able to produce quotes right out of the CRM, which is fast and simple. And that can link in directly with your rate card of charges, but it can also integrate with your accounting system. So this is really something to save work, eliminate double keying of information, and to improve accuracy. Where this can get more interesting is, rather than produce a physical quote document or email, what you can do here is speed things up and use products like DocuSign or Adobe Sign and use their electronic sign-off loop to really speed this up a lot. So the whole thing goes straight across to the customer, they can approve it, it can come back to you, you've got a trail of all of these things in the record, and you've got an answer much quicker. So that's one area where you can decrease the time to sign off. Of course, this is going to give you a permanent record against those customers about what they've bought from you previously, the whole audit trail against that. And if you have an internal process where you need to get quotes signed off before they go out, you can build that in as well as part of it. It's really all about streamlining the process and reducing the time to getting the work done. So as these things move along, there could be requirements for you to return to a site and maybe carry out a periodic inspection or service again. There may be due dates where you need to have done this by, and those can be tracked by building, by installation, or by customer, or all of those. And the system can do the legwork for you and take care of making sure that you're reminded on when these things are going to fall due. So if you have sold an installation and that generates ongoing work post-sale, such as if you offer installations of the equipment as well, you can put this in as part of your workflow. The system is able to set up the project to install and track the individual tasks as part of that in your workflow there. Again, it's about taking some of the manual work out of managing these projects and speeding things up. If you have particular workflows and particular ways of doing things, processes for managing inspections, perhaps you have reporting, perhaps there are quality assurance stages that things need to move through before they go back out to the customer. Again, these workflows can take care of that for you, make sure that things are moving through your process correctly and taking the manual work out of that. If you have customers who have regular requirements, they have periodic inspections that should due, one of the solutions here is you could use Gold-Vision's marketing tools in order to put together a mail shot which goes out to those customers where you know they are coming up for a renewed service or inspection or whatever it is, and invite them to call in and make bookings. So again, it's about removing manual work. When you've done that work, if you need to have work reports or certification, it's easy to handle all of this from one central point. And this means that you can get to the end of that job sooner and hit the point where you're ready to get the invoice out of the door. So again, it's about tying all of these things together. You've got a single point of information about all of these things, and the whole process is in there for you to reference in the future, but taking manual work out of the equation as much as possible.
And that's something we were talking about earlier in terms of gathering that information, maybe in a sales process, and then transporting that along automatically into the service delivery. And that takes us into the management of that. And in line with what Simon was just saying, a lot of this can be automated, and we're seeing a lot of cleaning up a process and automating a process in this sector. It's particularly important, of course, that the jobs are managed in such a way that you can schedule them in. So there's a couple of different ways in which these are generally achieved. First is perhaps just via calendar booking system like we've got on the screen here. The other is perhaps more like a job board with job cards that you can move along. The important thing is that you have a project or a wider consideration of a job, and then you may have individual tasks underneath that which need to be performed. These can be assigned perhaps to one or different individuals. And more importantly, something that you will then want to record is the outcome of that, which could just be a simple flag to say it's been done. But what we're also seeing is we understand the importance of documentation in this industry sector. So perhaps a survey or a report, it can actually be stored against that task itself. So it's a convenient place to put it. It's not hidden away in some random folder, and it's easy to find if you need to come back to it, perhaps in a year's time, or to review it in future as well. The setup of the jobs, of course, and the tasks can be automated as part of the project setup, and what Simon was talking about a minute ago, which again is another time saver there. Something that we have seen that is very popular is the ability to give either external consultants or contractors access to a focused area of the tasks. Of course, you can manage the communications with external people easily via phone or email, but one of the things that's really quite popular is a portal offering, which will allow those people to log in a self-service manner and access the jobs they need to work on, which will have that key information. What's the address? What's the site? Who do they need to speak to? What's the nature of the work? And also then upload any outcome from that job, such as a report or a certificate or anything like that. It can then be stored back in CRM. The really beneficial thing about this is it can actually be automated as part of a streamlined workflow, where the job or the task is assigned. An email can be sent to that individual to let them know they can log in and perform the work. It's great for either external contractors, or if you've got external team members, or perhaps someone who you wouldn't necessarily want to have full access to your CRM.
That's the key right there, which is that if you're using external people for some jobs, and you don't want them to have full access, then they can really just be seeing the information which they absolutely need to see in order to do the job which you're assigning to them. The other thing that we're seeing in this area is that some of our customers have a particular process that they are very keen that everybody follows, and the portal is one of the ways you can make sure that that's really well followed, because they pick up a piece of information when it's sent to them, they do some work, and then they return a piece of information, and it goes through a process. So the portal is a great way of bringing those external contractors in as part of your team, if that's something that you do. What we're really describing here is how to keep on top of a piece of work which may be quite complex, might be in several parts. There could be a lot of these things happening at the same time. And one of the ways of tracking that is using Gold-Vision's reporting. And this is an area which is really very, very helpful. and tremendously flexible. You can create reporting in all sorts of different formats based around what your situation is. You're not forced to use pre-baked reports which just come out of the system. You can really set up exactly what you need and come up with charts like this. These are live, they're self-updating. That means you just create them once and then they're always going to be up to date after that. And you can really set these up any way that you want. If you want to report on a territory or a category of work or a member of the team, a period of time, any of those things are absolutely fine. You can set these up yourself and view them. They'll always be up to date. You can see a range of different formats of the reports here. So it could be standard kind of bar charts or the gauge chart. Sometimes what our clients want, though, is a single figure answer. It's just tell me what we sold last quarter, or just tell me what we've done in this particular area this month, or something very, very specific. And the purple square that you can see with a figure in it is doing exactly that. You can set it up once to measure a particular thing, and it will just give you that figure right off the bat, live, updating all the time. So if you have a need for that kind of reporting, this is absolutely ideal for that. Sometimes some customers have processes outside of this system, and they need to take a piece of data out of it, feed it into something external, and view it that way, whether it's something like Power BI or their own reporting metrics, and that's absolutely fine. You can export data out of Gold-Vision and drop it into something else using a universal format, something like CSV. That's very, very simple to do if you want to do that. And the other thing which is done quite often is if you have performance indicators that you want to track, have you been meeting these, then this is a very easy way to understand, are you ahead of that? Are you behind the game? What do you need to do? And reporting can give you answers in all of those areas. It's a really helpful area, is the reporting. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope to see you at one of our future webinars soon.